Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Health to order. My name is Thomas Corey. This is Donna Strong, Dr. Daniel Souza, Tess Curran, agent of the board. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived by those present, and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Again, we asked everyone to sign the attendance sheet. When it comes time for the public hearing, we'll ask you to, we're going to ask the opposition to speak first and the affirmatives to speak after, and we'll get an arrangement so everyone has the opportunity to speak, okay? We have a couple of items to do before we get to that. We have to approve the minutes of the meeting from February 27th. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to be made to the minutes of the meeting as printed? Do we have a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of February 27, 2019.
Second. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. We have a request for a tattoo establishment license. Lisa, are you the presenter?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, if you'll come on down to the hot seats.
I'll get another
We
chair.
need one more chair. If you'll state your name and address clearly for the record.
Bruce Deloria, 3579 North Main Street, Fall River, Mass.
Jason Chakowski, 649 Alden Street, Fall River, Mass.
Okay. Lisa?
Lisa, Fall River, Mass. I have two gentlemen here who, Bruce here has a 2019 license with, at a tattoo establishment. And Jason has had one in the past. His last year was 2013. They are opening up a tattoo shop together. So all their credentials are in order. The name of the tattoo establishment is Fall River Tattoo Company. It'll be 1412 South Main Street in the city, and that's why they're here today.
Okay. All their paperwork is in order?
It
I know I
is.
went through, it looked
It is.
pretty good to me.
Yes,
All the appropriate
it is.
certifications,
Everything's good.
everything?
Yes.
The facility has been inspected and meets
Yes.
all requirements?
Yes, it does.
What do you recommend?
I recommend that. Well, I don't know about him today. Yeah, it's good. Everything's
They're
good.
good?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, well, anything to say?
No.
No? Questions from the board? Do we have a motion to, we need a motion to establish the license for the tattoo establishment, and then we're going to need motions for the practitioner licenses. So we want to handle them in order as they appear on the agenda?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll make a motion for the institution Fall River Tattoo Company, and that the workers there, Jason Chakowski and Bruce Flores, be approved for work in a tattoo parlor.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Lisa will provide you with the proper documentation.
I will.
Now we need for a practitioner license for Bruce.
We'll make a motion for a practitioner license.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Again, Lisa will issue you a license within the next day or so. Next, we need a approval for practitioner license for Jason.
I make a motion to approve the tattoo practitioner license for Jason Chotkowski.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Gentlemen, congratulations, and
Thank you.
go forth.
If you don't mind, we're going to watch.
Of course. You put the money in the meter. All right, we're going to open up the public hearing regarding a regulation to ensure the sanitary and safe operation of adult-use marijuana establishments and the sale of adult-use marijuana. All those who'd like to speak in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. We have one, two, three.
In favor?
No, in opposition. We're going to do opposition first. Okay, so we want opposition. Raise them and leave them up. So we, 1, 2. Just 2. Okay. Madam, join us. Welcome. If you state your name and address for the record.
Laura Eaton, 207 Buffington Street, Fall River, Mass.
Okay.
So I have a couple of things I wanted to discuss. Let me just introduce myself. I'm Laura Eaton. I'm the newly owner of Tri-City Wellness in Fall River. I'm here to discuss today the recent prospective changes suggested by the Board of Health about CBD. CBD can be extracted from both hemp and cannabis. These are not the same plant. Personally, I've grown tired of a board that feels they can intervene on topics to make the good merchants of the city be at a disadvantage to other cities in the same line of business. Age restrictions on a product that's been forced out of our regular diet due to our federal law is 15 steps backwards in time. Long ago, before marijuana became illegal, the plant grew widely in fields and forests. It was eaten by animals, insects, and then passed on to humans through their meat and other byproducts of the genius. Today, these plants are no longer wild, but coveted and mostly cultivated inside gardens under artificial lighting and provided the most perfect conditions to grow to their absolute best. In an attempt to reach homeostasis in the body, a certain amount of cause and effects goes into everyone to reach a peak of health, a yin and a yang. For years, the medical profession has been prescribing to treat symptoms. CBD actually addresses an entire system, and it's herb that is grown into soil and ingested for health to our endocannabinoid system that run equilaterally with our central nervous system. Our cannabinoid receptors have ultimately been forgotten about in the last 60 plus years, and its negatively effect on our bodies and also our children's lives. There is no age restriction for pain, for anxiety, and for depression. These are cannabinoids that are sometimes shared in products sold on store shelves, in bud form, trichome, and also their roots. Roots used for salves and other therapeutic oils. However, this isn't the only place where cannabinoids are derived from. Hemp is also often cold pressed to have their oils leached from them and then added to food, vape cartridges, salves. CBD is non-psychoactive. This means you do not get high, you do not get stoned, like it's often confused with its sister, THC. Matter of fact, CBD will actually sober you up from ingesting too much THC. You cannot overdose on CBD. Having 18-year-olds banned till 21 to purchase CBD edibles goes against the call of nature. Considering that this substance was consumed without knowledge in the past and only now is being recognized for its benefits, it's ludicrous. The CBD won't hurt you and THC won't hurt you. What will hurt all of us is over-regulation on a product that could help so many. That's it. So I just think that I got this letter. I'm happy to be in the city of Fall River. I'm happy to be able to help save people's lives and get their quality of life back. There's children in our school system that are 6 years old on Adderall, Concerta, Ritalin, causing psychosis, as well as committing suicide even. These kids are now going on these edibles, on these gummies that are easier to consume, as well as the tinctures. I feel like they should not be regulated. If they're allowed to take them in other forms, they should be allowed to take them as an edible as well. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome once again. If you'll state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Erica Scott Pacheco. I reside at 187 Pittman Street. I'm here because I'm very concerned about hearing a small business owner who recently opened her own business in our community saying that she feels this would directly threaten her business, especially when our city is trying to focus on cultivating economic development. I question why CBD, which is from the hemp plant that has less than 0.3% THC, would actually fall under the purview of the Board of Health. You're all medical professionals with extensive training, so you're probably aware that hemp is regulated at the federal level under the 2014 and 2018 Farm Bills and under the Department of Agricultural Resources at the state level here in Massachusetts. It's not regulated by the Department of Public Health. It's not regulated by the Cannabis Control Commission. So I'm confused why this particular proposal includes CBD edibles and refers to marijuana. As Ms. Eaton explained, CBD comes from hemp. It is not psychoactive, it is medicinal. I see also the ordinance proposed, or the proposed language of marijuana accessories being limited only for sale at cannabis and adult-only smoking shops. I don't know what a marijuana accessory is. I note that yesterday at the city council meeting, there was a motion to refer this question to Corporation Council. That was, I believe, number 18 on the city council agenda. A citizen, I don't know who it was, put in a petition about what does that even mean. I don't know what it means. I'd like to ask the board what it means. But I also worry that that would be overregulation, negatively impacting small businesses. I reside in the Flint. There are many small businesses, convenience stores, corner stores that sell smoking accessories. They're not 18 only, 18 and over establishments. Would that negatively impact their business? What is the difference of a smoking accessory for tobacco versus for marijuana? So before this proposal goes forward, I'd like to ask the board respectfully if you would wait until Corporation Council Macy has the opportunity to weigh in on exactly what a marijuana accessory is. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who wants to speak in favor of? Two, I only see two. All of you came and no one wants to speak? Okay, ladies first.
Thank
If
you.
you'll state your name and
Certainly.
address for the record.
Sure. My name is Cheryl Sabara. I am the Senior Staff Attorney and the Director of Policy Law for the Massachusetts Association of Health Boards. We provide technical assistance and legal education to boards of health throughout the Commonwealth. There are 351 boards of health, all of whom have the legal authority to enact local public health laws, as long as they're reasonable. And I'm going to address the previous speaker's question about what is the definition of marijuana accessory. And the definition comes right from the adult use cannabis law, which is Chapter 94G that the legislature enacted a while ago now. And as a result of what the legislature did, we have a conflict now between the definition of drug paraphernalia and the definition of marijuana accessory. They're almost exactly the same thing. A marijuana accessory is, and this is taken right from the state law, equipment, products, devices, or materials of any kind that are intended or designed for use in ingesting, inhaling, or otherwise introducing adult use marijuana into the human body. Now, that's Chapter 94G. If you look at our definition in Chapter 94C of drug paraphernalia, it almost reads identically. There are a couple of differences, but it would incorporate everything that is called a marijuana accessory now. So we have one state law on the books that says these items are drug paraphernalia, and we have another law on the book that says these are legal marijuana accessories. What used to happen prior to the adult use cannabis law is that these kinds of items that could arguably be used to smoke or ingest tobacco were permitted in stores that had a retail tobacco sales permit, because it was justified in that you could arguably claim that this bong or this pipe was not used, it could be used for tobacco. Now, since this law has been enacted, there is confusion in the state about what these products are. Because a product that you could use to ingest tobacco, you can certainly also use to ingest marijuana. So it's a legal marijuana accessory, and therefore what we've seen is stores that do not have tobacco sales permits opening it up and selling marijuana accessories because they are legal. So what some municipalities are doing, because they're seeing a deluge of these marijuana accessories showing up in many different kinds of stores is they're considering restricting these type of accessories, marijuana accessories, to stores that are adult-only retail tobacco stores and have permits, or marijuana establishments, which clearly they're marijuana accessories, they belong there. So that's just to clarify what a marijuana accessory is. CBD has become, unfortunately, something that I believe the federal and the state government have really done a disservice to most of the public. I think everyone knows that CBD is in many, many stores right now. However, it's been in many stores for a very long time, even when it was classified as a Class 1 drug. Now, that is no longer the case. It is legal. However, the FDA, which regulates food and drugs, obviously, has indicated that they will be regulating CBD. CBD does come, as a previous speaker spoke, from the hemp plant. It also comes from the marijuana plant. And what we used to be able to distinguish between those two, now we have hybrid plants, and in my opinion, it really doesn't matter where it comes from if it's CBD. And I don't personally think there's anything wrong with CBD at all, as long as we can be reasonably certain that we're still protecting public health when we're selling it. The federal government the FDA makes it very clear, and you can go to their website, that claims that it cures serious illnesses are illegal. Those claims cannot be made about this product. It also makes it clear that CBD is not an approved additive for food, hence our concern with edibles. There are some exemptions, and that might have been one of the things that one of the previous speaker was speaking about. Hemp seed oil, for instance, hemp seed protein and hulled hemp seeds would be exempt from this regulation because they are generally approved as safe according to the FDA. So what the purpose behind this regulation, and I should say it's anything that has less than 0.3% of THC is considered hemp and is legal and is regulated by, or is to be regulated by, the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. However, they have not promulgated any regulations to date. That's why we're in the pickle, that's a legal term, today. Because what MDAR says on their website and what their attorney says when I speak with her is that any person proposing to plant, grow, harvest, process, or sell hemp must obtain a license from MDAR. When you call MDAR and you say, how do I get a license to sell, they say there are no licenses available. And when I call and say, well, what does that mean? You know it's being sold everywhere. They say there are no licenses available. I mean, it's pure bureaucracy. So there are no state licenses available, but we know it's being sold in many, many places, including Whole Foods and CVS, some of which may be cosmetic and some may be the products that I discussed a minute ago, the hemp seed oil, et cetera, et cetera. But I voiced to MDAR a concern. I get calls every day. I'm sure Tess does. Boards of Health are getting calls constantly about, what do I do? I'm finding edible CBD, I'm finding tea-infused CBD, I'm finding all of these things all over the place in my city or town. Another issue that's concerning is that the FDA prohibits any food that contains CBD from being sold through interstate commerce. So you see a gummy bear that comes from Florida, that, according to the FDA, is illegal because it's an edible that that was involved in interstate commerce to get to Massachusetts. They're everywhere, though. So, so what's a board to do? We're in a situation where we're not exactly sure whether we should do anything, and if we should do something, what should we do? And there is a huge concern that I have heard from health directors all over the state about the edible piece. The fact that if you look at the packaging on a lot of these edible products, they really say nothing. They don't say what a serving size is. They don't say whether it's been independently tested in a lab. There's just nothing on there other than this is a great gummy bear or whatever. So the purpose behind this regulation would be to put some very basic, actually what's already in the law, into a place so that Fall River itself as a city could have some idea of where these products are and whether they've been independently tested. And that's really what it does. It does age restrict the product. And the rationale for that is for edible products, we don't know what's in them. They're not regulated yet. What Massachusetts is requiring for edibles, for all CBD products, is that they have to be, the seller needs to demonstrate that they come from an approved source licensed either by MDAR or by a federally approved independent laboratory. So that's already what the state law requires. So what this would do would be to incorporate what the state's already requiring into a local law. Now, the age restriction is something that is not in the state law. The laboratory approval is at the time when it's a seed. And then the others are just, and again, it's because we don't know right now, there's really no state regulation on the product at all, so we're suggesting that it would probably be a good idea to not have, to prohibit self-service displays, so a kid couldn't just get it, which we've done for tobacco for 30 years, and prohibit the vending machine sales for the same reason, and that the cities, and that the folks that, and I would hope anyone who is selling CBD now understands that they're selling it without a state license, and if they're making claims, they're violating the FDA if they're making claims that it's curing people. So, proceed at your own risk is really all we can really say now, but at least the board will be able to feel as if, the board will be able to make sure that the CBD that's being sold has been tested, either by MDAR or by its equivalent. And we're now in, I think, our second growing season, so that should be something that we could do. So in my opinion, I think what the board is doing is really helping folks that are selling this that may in fact be selling it in violation of either the FDA or of the state law, but at least we're putting some sort of protection on the product, because the trains left the station, there's no question about that, but there is absolutely no regulation other than what I just mentioned with the FDA and with what MDAR is saying.
So I have a question.
Sure.
The way I read the regulation, it's not just that if you claim it's a cure, but if you claim that it has any health benefits at all.
Or a dietary supplement
That's
benefits.
a violation.
Of the FDA,
Right.
yes. And the FDA has a very good website called Public Health/hemp, I believe is how you find it, but you can Google it and find it. And it goes through in quite detail what the FDA, what the federal requirements are and are not with the product. So it's a useful document for folks that are either selling it or interested in learning more about it. And I personally think CBD has some real potential, and I know the federal government does too. They're just concerned that we're getting ahead of ourselves when it comes to seeing so much of it on the market with so little regulation at this point.
Thank you. Sir? Good afternoon, welcome once again. If you'll state your name and address for the record.
My name is Wayne Furtado. I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations for the Fall River Police Department. I was asked to come today and just speak to you on behalf of Chief Dupere, who had another commitment who could not come today. Chief Dupere had submitted a written report to the board recommending, he's actually giving his support of the proposed regulations that are before us today. I've also had the opportunity to watch the meeting from February 27th, and in particular, Ms. Sabara's part of the meeting. I found it very, very informative. The chief as well was aware of a lot of the things that Ms. Sabara had spoken about during that meeting. So with that, and after reviewing all the regulations that are proposed, we feel that we are going to give our support to this recommendation. We believe that it's proper to restrict the sale of marijuana accessories to marijuana establishments and adult-only tobacco stores. We are in support of banning commercial gifting and the prohibition of coupon redemptions as well. And we're also in favor and in support of restricting the sale of CBD edibles to individuals under the age of 21, and prohibit the self-service displays. So that's just important that the Fall River Police does support the regulations as written.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone else to speak? For or against? I have to let the others.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, please. Welcome. Sir, if you'll state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mohammed Siddiqui, and I am manager at 7 Days, Durfee Street. And I don't know about the marijuana part, we are not belong to this. But the CBDs, I mean, we are still not clear what the CBD is. We are just assuming what is this. My understanding, that's not alternative of tobacco. That's found in Great Britain, and their parliament approved for the human being. So that's the second thing, for the CBDs all comes from the recognized dealer, and that they approved in 50 states. And we didn't see any harm of the CBD so far yet. We didn't see any lungs problem, any cancer problem, or anybody biting another. And CBD is just for the relief of pain or whatever they designed for. So that's my understanding. CBD is not alternative of cigarette, and CBD are very harmful. And CBD is coming through recognized dealer. This is authorized in 50 states legal. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, would you make sure that you sign in? I think you came in a little late, so I just
All
want to
right, I
make
will.
sure. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am?
So I'd like to just reiterate back to what she had said, and I want to say thank you for explaining that a little bit in more detail, because those regulations can get a little intense when you read them. But so one more concern that I do have on this, and this is why I'm doing a rebuttal. My concern is we should have this regulated. This should be regulated. My company, where I just started, we have certificate of analysis for everything. Basically, it's tested in a lab. They have certificates to prove there's no THC in our products. It's non-GMO, it's all organic. My concern is selling this so-called CBD in these convenience stores. It's doing damage to people's bodies. It's actually doing damage to their liver. It's causing them with a different type of effect, you know, whether it's cold sweats, hot sweats. It's not regulated. They got metals and toxins in this product, so that is a concern to me. I feel like we should create some permit to sell CBD in the city of Fall River, allowing people that are educated in the industry to sell this product. I mean, people, this is an education piece. This is not something you just wake up one morning and decide you want to sell CBD to somebody. My journey's a little different. I can say this, it was curing my daughter when there was no diagnosis. There was no pharmaceutical medication being submitted into her body at the time when she had something going on that was life-threatening. When I stopped this, it was because they came back with a protocol saying, in a diagnosis stating that she had something that she didn't even have. They pumped her with chemo. Within 8 months, she became septic. She became septic because of these very powerful pharmaceutical meds. I opened a wellness center in Fall River basically because in the community, in the area that I'm in, I worked for crisis in this area for the government for 19 years before my child passed away. I've seen every single walk of life you can think of. I've seen people come in from institutes, come out, be switched up on a med, switched off, people that were going suicidal because of medications. We have an opiate and a benzo problem in the city of Fall River. We can make Fall River look pretty, we can make the waterfront look pretty, that's all well and good. We need to focus on our children in the city. And my concern is seeing these children that can't sleep at night, or that they're fighting and punching other students and they're on all these different medications that's causing psychosis in the brain. They're not learning. They're becoming addicts at 15, 16, 17 years old. We should have a wellness center in every part of Fall River right now. Our state rep should be fighting for grants for these individuals to have wellness centers, not Suboxone and methadone clinics that do deplete your life and deplete your bones and deplete your liver, and then your quality of life's gone and you're gone. I truly believe we should be coming together with other pharmacies in the city to kind of, tackle this problem. We have a problem in Fall River, and these children are starting younger and younger and younger on opiate. And if we don't save our children, the city of Fall River is not going to be saved, because we're not going to ever have anybody working in this city that comes from our beautiful city that they grew up in, right? That's my concern. So I really do think this should be regulated. I think the city of Fall River should hire somebody on education with wellness. I think this needs to be fought more on the state level by our representatives and our board members here in this community. It's a proven fact. I mean, I can't say it's a cure-all, because I would never say that. All my products have everything on description on the back, what it contains. Like I said, you could pull up the certificate of analysis up on the computers and you can read what's in this product. The last thing I want to close with is just regulating it. They need to hire somebody, and they need to get wellness back in this community. We need to find other ways. It needs to get in the school systems. I mean, everybody's taking a pill for this and a pill for that and a pill for that, and it's temporary. I just think that, we need to restrict it more, like I said, with these corner stores. I go into corner stores in Fall River and I have a voice. I say it. I said, this should not be on the shelf. This is an isolate. This contains metal. They're still selling them. People come to me, they tell me, I've been on this and this so-called CBD. I look it up. It's containing all sorts of toxins in it. That's so much worse than an actual pharmaceutical medication. So I just wanted to address that there should be some sort of stipulation here in the city of Fall River. Have trainings, have people come to groups and, that want to get into this business. I mean, they're putting 11 dispensaries in the city of Fall River for what? For what? For money. It's for competition. It's for profit. It's not for the patient. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone else? Wait, after this gentleman, anyone else? This is going to be the last call. This gentleman's going to be the last one. Anyone else? 3 times. Sir, if you would. Would just welcome and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Irfan Hassan. I have a store in 2nd Street, Ken's Food Mart. We received this letter. Actually, most of people I talk to them, the language is not really, we understood what is going to propose, because it's saying 21, it says marijuana establishments, and I don't know how it's going to affect the convenience stores. Another thing that we can support the regulation that age restrict and not to have on the counter, or it should be in the displays. And also, I think CBD, I mean, what I hear from the people, CBD is really helping people. But the vendors should be recognized vendors. I mean, most of the CBD we get from, it's the mainstream company who sells in all states, and it says the products, what is in there, and basically what is in there, and also if it's legal, I mean, what is the quantity, everything it states. But if there's someone is selling that, it doesn't say anything, it just says CBD, I mean, we're not for that. But I think we should not restrict the businesses on this, time, especially when we don't know what is going on, So I am opposing the regulation at the same time, but we need more time to understand this letter and maybe talk to the other owners, how we can work this out and understand how it's going to affect to the small businesses. That's all. I think we need more time, and if you can explain this, maybe better language in the letter. So people know, a lot of people doesn't even, I talk to them, they don't even know if it's for us, for small store, it's for the CBD store, it's for the smoke shops, or it's for marijuana establishment. That's why a lot of people didn't even come today, because they don't even know who's that for, the letter is for. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this will close the public hearing. You're free to stay or go. Members of the board, we have any comments? Well, the regulation that we're passing does not prohibit the sale of CBD. It prohibits the sale of CBD to persons less than 21 years old. You wouldn't want a 15-year-old or a 12-year-old self-medicating. I would hope if a parent felt that they needed CBD, they would consult with someone, as you said, someone responsible, knowledgeable with CBD, and parent-administered CBD, that's okay. But I don't want the child coming in and buying it. The restriction for no vending machines, we don't want a child to be able to go to a vending machine. We don't want a child, most of the convenience stores that I have visited over the last few years, most of the things are behind glass anyway, in glass cabinets. Okay, so that eliminates the self-service. You're not going to go up and it's like buying a bag of potato chips. So as far as that is, I think those are reasonable accommodations for everyone. We've had the discussion about the purity of some of the CBD oils. I am a pharmacist. Believe me, I've done a bunch of CE seminars on this in the last 6 months. There are questions over the purity. If you're a merchant buying the CBD, it's your responsibility to make sure you're getting a high-quality product. I can tell you this, a high-quality product is not going to retail for $9.99. Okay? If you're going to use it, there are many anecdotal stories about its use and its studying for anxiety, for pain relief, for sleeplessness, for a great many things. And we're getting stories back, but don't forget, it hasn't been out in the marketplace long enough. And there are no controlled studies. So again, for the merchants who are selling, the purity and strength is really important. So you should really contact your supplier and verify. And just so you have an idea, when they say less than 0.3%, does anyone in this room have an idea of what 0.3% is? I use this example all the time. If you take 1,000 grains of salt and line them up on a table, take 3 away and put 3 grains of pepper, that's 0.3%. It's a very small amount. And so you're really looking at the purity of the product. One of the other things, many of the products are coming in coconut oil. Believe it or not, we're having adverse effects for people who have an allergy to coconut oil. Now, I myself never knew about this till about 5 months ago. So again, if you're selling the product, you have to take responsibility that you're selling a pure product. You can't make any accusation is not the word. What's the word I want? You can't make any recommendations that it's for this or for that. You can say something like, this may have helped other people, okay? But if you come in, and I don't know if I want to be medicating with myself something that I bought at a gas station. Okay? So, you know, the convenience store owners, you're really going to do some education on this if you're going to sell it. I would, you know, those who specialize in it, I know the pharmacies are becoming more involved in it with the CVS and Walgreens announcements in the last few weeks. I'm sure a lot of people are going to try it. But again, we felt these were reasonable regulations. We don't want children self-medicating. We don't want children purchasing it. That's really the purpose. That's my spiel. Dr. Souza.
Just a few points. If you go to the highest level of regulation with the FDA, when they approve a drug, they have to pass 3 basic tests. The first test is it safe? The benefits outweigh the risks of the drug. The second part is, does the drug do what you think or what you want it to do? And then the third part is this drug equal or better than anything out there? So those are the 3 hurdles that drugs have to go through to pass through the FDA. The problem here is that this stuff was illegal or wasn't studied for a long time. So we're in a big question mark right now. We just don't know. We think there's a lot of good potential here, and a lot of this is through a lot of history and stories that go back and forth, but we don't have hard data yet. And the stuff is just coming out. The FDA has approved an anti-epileptic drug now, which is based on the cannabis plant. So there's forward progress. But when we set regulations, first of all, we don't know all the good and the bad related to THC and to the CBD oils. But second of all, you always have to watch out for the lowest common denominator. Now, a lot of you who are going to sell these products are all good-natured, you have good intent, you want a good product, but there's going to be people out there that are going to use stuff that's not so good. So you have to at least set a bar of what is going to be appropriate. That's part of the regulations. So I just want to put that out there. The second thing is, being a pulmonologist, a lung doc, you know, I don't like things being inhaled. Whatever it is, you know it's going to be detrimental to lung physiology. So whether it's tobacco, which we knew back in the 50s was bad for you, it didn't come out until the 70s that it was bad for you officially. There's a lot of lag time that comes out with drugs that you think they're the best things in sliced bread, and 20, 30 years go out, you have enough experience with them, and then you start to realize, you know, some pretty adverse effects are associated with this stuff. So you have to watch out for that. And finally, when it comes to children, you know, the brain of an adolescent is different than the brain of an adult. The biochemical properties are different. So you do want to watch out for kids much more so than for the adults. And that's why the age limit comes into play. That's my 2 cents.
Anything, Donna?
Well, the concern about the kids that are on medications that maybe they shouldn't be, that maybe this would help, I think should see a doctor who could get them a medical card if that's the case. But I also want to say that I'm an oncology nurse, so those terrible chemo drugs, that's what I've done for years. There are a lot of drugs that come on the market. They're no longer here because over the years, like Dr. Souza said, they've been found to cause more problems than the problems they fix. So there are drugs that have been removed from the market because of the dangers they cause. But when they were put on the market, they went through all those clinical trials, they passed all those tests that he talked about, and they made it to market. But then only because of years of use and all the problems that they caused were they subsequently removed from the market. So do we want to just let this go until we see if it causes problems? Or do we want to do something about it in the hope of at least containing it? And if it's good, that's great. I hope it is. I'm an oncology nurse. I have patients that use it. But our job is to help the health of the people of Fall River. That's what we're here to do. So we can't just let something willy-nilly be put into places and hope it's okay, because that's not the responsible thing for us to do.
Yeah. We have a motion to accept the regulations as printed, discussed.
I make a motion to pass the regulations in regards to the regulation ensuring the sanitary and safe operation of adult-use marijuana establishments and the sale of adult-use marijuana.
I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? So voted. Let the record show it was unanimous. Is there any new business to come before the board of such a nature that it could not make the agenda?
No new business.
We need to set a date for the next meeting.
Could everyone sign in, whoever came in after the meeting, please sign in up top, thank you.
Following our usual procedure, it would be the last week in May, but that's the holiday week.
Yeah, I can't, I'm not available at all that week.
Okay. Tess, we'll go with your schedule first.
For May, I'm on vacation the 20th through the 24th.
You lucky person, you. How about the first week of June, June 5th?
For me.
Dr.
Works for me.
Souza?
Works for me.
Okay, let's go with Wednesday, June 5th, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless something else comes up that we need an emergency meeting, we'll go with that. Do we want to look at July while we're all here as a potential meeting?
That'll be 1 PM.
Yes. You want July 10th or 17th? That'll give us like 5 weeks between the meeting, and that won't be the week of the holiday.
Either one is okay for me.
I'm available right now.
10th, we'll go July 10th.
10th would be okay, if all right with you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, tentatively then, July the 10th. We have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? So voted. Thank you.